Ahoy there crewmates, welcome to Barotrauma. Today we're going to be doing a submarine tour. It's been a while since my last one, but I thought since I've been using this submarine quite a lot, I thought I'd do a sub tour. I will hopefully get around to doing some more soon. I know I've been asked in the comments to do some more submarine tours, especially from the custom community. So today we're doing the Berilia, which is a ship I've been using a lot of recently because I did a video about weapon turrets. I'll leave a link in the video description below if you want to go check that one out, which covers all the different new turrets in Barotrauma. And for that video, I used the Berilia as it has 4 turret hardpoints, which made it ideal for doing that. So I have a lot of experience now using the Berilia to kind of run the different missions. So I wanted to give a quick submarine tour of that today. Okay, here we are. You have to excuse the mess, as I have not been cleaning up whatsoever, and I have a lot of crates, ammunition, and stuff that I should be using on different things, but so just ignore that for now. So we're going to start off, I'm playing obviously the captain, and you start off by the navigation console, which is located kind of at the top here, the command room. There's actually a full breakdown of the ship that we'll get into shortly. Command room is pretty good. We've got the depth charge launcher that I will locate and show off when we get to the weapons room. We've got a lower discharge coil and an upper discharge coil. Lower is on the left, upper is on the right. We've actually also got a periscope, the front of the submarine as well. So you can see that front turret when it's attacking things. Obviously you can't control the turret, it's just a periscope. Let's go backwards first. We'll do cargo. Yeah, gonna ignore the mess here. We've got these nice lights here, which I want to add some more lights. Maybe I'll do a video about electrical engineering and how you can add additional stuff like lights in game and submarine. So we've got these unit load devices, which are huge. This is new Thunder and Ice stuff. So I did a video just when the Thunder and Ice update was coming out. Unfortunately I did it in between. I got the size of the Berilia's cargo hold wrong. There is so much storage on this thing now that even running 2 cargo missions you can't fill out. That's how much storage this thing has. It's an absolute beast. So we're in cargo bay 1 and we'll move to the back. Cargo bay 2. So that's pretty much the top side of the ship. And moving to the front of the ship, we have some storage here. This is the main hatch in and out. I've actually done some electrical wiring here because there is a very annoying thing that this button opens 2 doors at once. But what that means is that when you open the other one, there is a state it can get in where it's constantly open, and if you have AI NPCs, they don't really go up there, and it's just constantly. So I rewired a few things so that there's always a button that's independent of the other door, so you can always close it and make sure. And if you open it, this door should close. And yeah, I suppose the annoying thing is it's this thing here. So if I had the opportunity to build this sub, I would actually just leave this small pump here, and this small pump can disappear. Reason being, the NPCs won't come up here to repair it when it gets broken. So again, causing this stuck open door. Okay, anyway, so with a quick bit of rewiring, you can solve that issue. I think what would be really nice, if I was being that little bit extra, is if I also then put another wire and a switch down here for it as well. And then that way, if for whatever reason there's something that happened by accident because the pump is broken, you can just close the door from down here and then problem solved. So it's a much quicker fix rather than having to put on a diving suit, climb up the ladder and hit the button. This is the beginning of the diving lockers. I don't know why my crew love taking diving suits. We have some storage at the front here, which is really good just before you head out of the submarine. So we have a front junction box room. Now, I like that there are 2 separate junction box rooms, but what I don't like is that they are created in a parallel circuit, meaning if the first junction box room, which we'll go down and have a look at in a minute, is broken, this junction box room doesn't work. I think if I was going to design it, I'd have parallel junction box rooms that were independent of each other, so that at least, you know, maybe something like weapons could be online if everything else was offline, and vice versa. I just have maybe a sort of a separation. Moving to the very front of the ship here, this door does nothing. I have no idea what happened when someone was building this ship and what they thought they were doing. But yeah, this door, let's open it up. Okay, we've got a clown costume in there. It's just for the clown costume. Maybe there's something on multiplayer that I haven't discovered about clown costumes at the front here. Okay, so that's pretty much the top part of the ship. Let's move down. We've got more diving lockers in the middle. I really like this because that's great access for when you know, stuff starts flooding and you need to run around and grab things rather than having to go to just one location. I like that they've separated the diving suits up. You will have noticed as well, if you've watched some of my other videos, that I have actually upgraded upgraded these to the combat diving suit. The main reason being is these are super fast to walk in. If you're ever familiar with the original diving suit that comes by default with this ship, they're kind of slow, so they're not the best things to wear. But the combat diving suit, I mean, I actually think I'm even faster. Is there a fast? It says an agile suit, which can go up to 6 kilometers or 6,000 meters in depth, which is great. So I'll put that back for now. I've tried to upgrade as many as I want. There is unfortunately a bit of a bug with the NPCs where if they're wearing a diving suit and you dock at station and they drop the diving suit, you've now lost it. Incredibly frustrating, but I've hopefully got enough diving suits that it shouldn't matter. So let's move to the front, specifically the armory. I'd say we've actually, before we hit the armory, we're going to hit medical. This is probably the biggest disappointment and biggest disadvantage of the ship. This is medical. This is it. This is all of it. It does not have a medical fabricator, which I think is probably the biggest disadvantage of this particular ship, mainly because like there's a lot of characters on board. So what you have to do is make sure that you buy a lot of medical supplies before you start missions, just to ensure that the medicine cabinet is full. You can't fabricate anything. It's nice that it has 2 medical cabinets though, so you can stock plenty of medicine in there, but anything that you're going to be using to craft up is completely useless. So moving to the very front here, I quite like this. I think this is probably a better multiplayer feature than anything else. There's a sonar monitor down here, which would give direct instructions to whoever's on the guns and let them know specifically where a particular monster is coming. So which gunner should be watching out for monsters coming in which directions, or pirates or submarines or structures or whatever. Hello, me in the middle here. Hope you're enjoying everything so far. If you are, make sure to hit the like button, as it doesn't just help me out, it helps other people looking for this kind of content as well. So from me and them, a big thank you, and without further ado, let's get back on with the video. So 4 guns on this ship, which is insane. It is a bit of a tank. It's a floaty boat. We've got, currently I think I've got just a couple of coil guns, a rail gun and a chain gun. But I have been rotating guns in and out to see which is kind of the best combination. I would say from quite a lot of experience now that the forward lower gunner, I think it's this one here. This one probably sees the most action just from what I see on the sonar. So we've got an ammunition shelf, the front right there. What I would say on the ammunition shelf / loader front, there's not enough storage. I mean, especially for a ship that has 4 turrets, you only get 1 ammunition shelf. So it's really lacking on that front. That's why you can see the floor is a little bit littered. This would be incredibly frustrating on, I think, multiplayer. The AI knows obviously which boxes are full and which ones are not, so they can just up quite easily. But that would be very annoying for your crewmates to kind of rotate in and out. This is where the depth charge loader is. Honestly speaking, it probably would be better up in the command room because it is the command room that needs to use it. So there is obviously, if you're in multiplayer, there's just a bit of communication that needs to happen to make sure that, you know, people are told like, hey, make sure that you've got the depth charge loader constantly loaded if you're going to use it a lot. Moving on, we've got the main circuit breaker room or electricity junction box room. We've got 4 battery charging stations. Honestly speaking, I think it's a bit of a waste. They could probably get away with 2. And once you upgrade the charge rate of the battery things, there's really no need to have so many. So I think instead it's just a way to store extra capacity in between, you know, nuclear reactor loading. This junction room is okay. I don't really have any major problems with it. It's a little bit disconnected from the reactor room, which is good. So if it catches on fire and stuff, it's nowhere near the reactor. So moving towards the back here, we've got a room that has nothing in it. I think this would be good if you've possibly got plants. This is a very protected room that doesn't usually see water too much. There's kind of thick walls above and below. So moving to the very back, we've got the first of 2 engines. This ship actually is so big it requires 2 engines. And so we're going to move straight down to the next deck where we've got the reactor. We've got enough storage. I like that it's got a bit of a bilge here just to really keep the water off the reactor if there's any kind of spillage or anything. This is the main junction box to connect to the reactor. That obviously goes off first junction box room, but this one doesn't break so often. Moving on from that, we've obviously got the fabrication room. I like that there's loads of storage. However, I would say I've now seen a pirate ship that has connected storage to the fabricator. Now, I really like this because it's kind of a little bit annoying having to go back and forth, getting resources, popping them into the fabricator to build whatever you need. Despite this having enough storage in this room, I think just moving this box to connect to the fabricator would put this as an A+ grade construction room. So deconstructor there, that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to have to move down now, otherwise we'll go through the bilge tanks. This one's quite hidden away, possibly location-wise not best. Obviously, there's 2 engines, you need somewhere to put the engine, so I think this room's really good as the final kind of engine room. Even got a little bit of a bilge under there for excess water. So the second large engine is there, which is absolutely fine. And they've put the oxygen generator down here. Possibly, I think a better location would be in that room where nothing's going on. It is a little bit annoying it being so close and exposed to other parts of the ship. Some basic storage there. So now we're going to move on to the main ballast tanks of this ship. They are actually all semi-connected. So we've got ballast tanks A, B, and C. I really like this design because what this means is if, let's say, ballast tank C goes offline from maintenance, it gets exploded, whatever it is, right? It's offline. Any water that comes above this line will seep over into this one, but this pump will still work. Now, obviously, it won't work at the same speed, so it's still slower, but there's a redundancy built into this ship, and I really like that. I haven't seen this on any of the other ships I've used so far. So now we've got a secondary command room. It's got another monitor. You could probably do without this room. It's nice that there's extra periscopes at the bottom ship and the back of the ship there, but I honestly feel they don't really serve too much purpose. It's nice to have a camera here because this is kind of one of the blind spots of the ship that I'll show off in a second. So we're on the gamma deck. Again, a lot of kind of empty space here that's well protected and not really used too much. We've got this additional bilge, which I don't really know why it exists. I think that if this was just part of the ballast tanks and they put a little pump here, it would be absolutely fine. I'm assuming what happens is you can see these tiny little vents here. And this is a water detector. So if the water detector fires off, and I think it's the same on deck above, these small vents open and they allow water to kind of seep in and get down to the pump there. But I feel that to create this extra room and have all this extra electricity and power consumption is a bit of a waste, that it would be much easier if there was a little pump on top there. So more diving suits here, possibly might be better location a little bit further back, got a little bit more storage. We've got crew quarters. I think this is actually a fairly good location. Maybe in one of the other areas, and this could be more of a functional room because the front of the ship is very well armored. Now moving down to the very bottom of the ship. So loads of diving suits, as you can see, all upgraded, which is fantastic. We've got a double airlock here, which I think is great. I actually feel that it'd be better to put this on top and a single airlock on bottom. It's much easier for the NPCs to go down a ladder when it's flooded versus trying to climb up against a flooding ladder. So I think it's just more actually gravity doing its job. It's better to have the double door on top. So that security camera that you saw was there. We've also got searchlights as well on the front. One of the other disadvantages of this ship is this is a blind spot. And so what I mean by that is here is that turret. The shooting angle kind of stops here. There have been cases where crawlers have been able to get up in this space and there's nothing that is able to shoot them from a turret perspective. So you have to come down and actually, make sure you kill whatever's down here as well, which kind of sucks. If I was going to redesign the ship, I think having a hatch here and maybe moving this across so that there isn't this additional blind spot in this ship, that would probably be a little bit better. Here we go. Perfect. So I get to illustrate my point on the annoying feature. As I've opened the outer door, the inner door doesn't do it, and then they struggle to get up this ladder because it's constantly flooding, but the pumps are quite good to close the door, and yeah, they really struggle with that. So if you're able to that's why I rewired the buttons, so able to do that will stop this happening. So yeah, that little sideshow over to upgrades and operation, as it is not an early game ship. My recommendations are upgrade the supercapacitors first. I think that's pretty much for most ships. The reason you also do that on a ship of this size as well is when you start off, you don't have a lot of crew members. I have quite a lot of crew members just doing kind of electrical and repairing damaged systems. So they run around repairing all the supercapacitors. So that's a huge quality of life improvement. The other thing I would say as well is because it is such a large ship, the next thing you need to upgrade beyond the supercapacitors is the hulls. Because it's so big and the chance of, there's more surface area basically to attack into, your crew members are going to be running around like crazy trying to patch everything up. So if you have those tougher hulls, it takes a longer time for monsters to kind of chew through. So they're minor leaks, so the crew has more chance to go around and actually patch things up. So yeah, that's why it's kind of not a beginner ship. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave the video there. Let me know in the comments below what you thought, or if there's anything else I missed out. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. It helps me out a lot and I do appreciate it. If you want to see more from me, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, peace.
Na na na.